Hello and welcome to this week's Hippie Hyena. So this week I thought we'd take a little look at Taylor the Fiend, who I've covered before. He's a sort of avatar sort of rant channel, which I sort of found because he was recommended to me through the algorithms where I pretend to be a reactionary nutbag. And I came across his channel, and effectively it's sort of like those 2016 Rantsona channels, the political stuff that this channel, Hippie Hyena, is sort of making fun of. That's what I chose to do, like a sort of Rantsona type style, because I'm sort of making a joke about that. Anyway, sort of like that, but instead of him doing politics, he basically just hates on women the whole time. And I thought it's really, really bizarre. It's odd for a number of reasons. And so I thought, let's check in and see what he's up to. Now, he starts this episode with a little clip from another creator. I'm not sure who it is. I don't recognize this person. It looks like someone on TikTok who has made a number of little sketches that are basically having a go at feminist women, which would be right up this channel's street. But I just thought the last little sketch that he chose to put up was really funny. So let's just have a look at that.
All men should turn gay.
Why do you say that?
BB, it's 2021. If you're not gay, you might as well just be homophobic. It's no homophobia for me.
Yeah, so there is, obviously it's not intentionally funny, it's unintentionally funny, I believe, or else this guy probably wouldn't have posted it. But the reason why it's funny is because the sheer madness of believing that anyone out there is wanting straight men to be gay, to not be homophobic. It's very, very strange. And I think it sort of speaks in some way to not only the sort of madness and the number that propaganda can do on somebody, but also probably speaks to the fact that there's, for some reason, feeling a lot of pressure to go gay and are fighting that pressure. Just saying, nothing wrong with that, I guess. But just be who you are, and then you'll find people who really accept you for who you are. Anyway, I just thought that was funny that Taylor the Fiend chose to pop that at the beginning of his video, because it really sort of sets the tone, and was just so clearly mad.
It's always that funny line, isn't it, gentlemen? Oh, I just intimidate you, and that's why I'm single. That's why I can't find a man.
No, it isn't. It's always that line. I've literally never heard anyone say that in real life. Once, ever. I've heard some crazy people say it on, reality TV once, I think. And I've heard some people, that, I mean, it's something that some people have said, and something that's definitely signal boosted by people who want to make some kind of weird anti-female point. But no, it's not something that I hear a lot at all. And I don't think it's something that this guy hears a lot. To be honest, I don't think this guy hears a lot from any women at all. So,
guys, these girls have absolutely no clue. And as the men go further and further away and say, you know what, I'm done with dating, or I don't want to commit to you, or hell, even, just any form of relationship with these women, they always seem to turn it around and try and shame men into coming back.
They always try to. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? It's so weird. He's got this sort of perspective on women as if they're almost like this other species. They're all different from each other, just like men are. And, there's probably more similarities and differences across the genders than there is straight across, amongst their own gender. And also, I mean, it just doesn't relate to reality. In the sense that gender is sort of a kind of messy thing, It's not as clear cut as that. And yeah, you get the odd horrible woman like you get the odd horrible bloke. But so what? And to cherry pick these incidences of particular unpleasant people and act as if that characterizes the entirety of all women is just so weird. It is sexism, obviously. It's archetypal sexism, but it's a really weird thing to do in this day and age. It's like propaganda, but against women. And I've got to ask, is this guy just a gay guy who hates women and has no use for them in his life? Because if that was the case, he would probably just ignore them, right? It seems to dedicate an entire channel just to propagandizing about women being the devil. The amount of time, I mean, I don't release as many videos as this guy does, and I know how much time it takes. You know, you've got to seek out content, you've got to, you know, decide what you're going to say, your sort of perspective on it, you've got to do the recording, editing, and so on. You know, it's quite a lot of time to invest in something where all you're doing is shitting on women, you know? And it's sort of, I mean, if I was like a therapist, I'd have a field day with this, you know? This is like just putting out his neuroses into the world proudly, you know? I mean, I wonder, it makes me start asking questions like, I wonder what kind of relationship this person had with their mother. I mean, they clearly don't have like meaningful relationships with women in their life. Because for a start, no woman would really, I think, but it would be very rare, but in general, no woman would put up with somebody who just hates women so much. You know, in the same way you don't get many like black people hanging out with racists. You do get the odd one, like some Jesse Lee Peterson or whatever. But I mean, this cannot be making him happy. This can't be. And he certainly isn't happy to begin with. You know, you can see how upset he is all the time. It's very strange.
Like, oh, you don't accept me? Well, then, you know, you've got healing to do, or you've got to work on yourself and all this kind of crap, guys.
Well, you know, in a lot of cases when people say that, it can be sort of passive-aggressive and unpleasant. But when people are saying it to this guy, to Taylor the Fiend, saying you need to work on yourself and you've got healing to do, in this case, he definitely does.
Guys, that is a great point right there. And this is something that people really don't talk about, okay? I'll bring up sometimes on the show, like, when a relationship ends with a woman, guys, it is not uncommon for the man to be ostracized from the friend group.
No, see, he's taking advice from Jordan Peterson, of all people, who knows absolutely nothing and is talking absolute bunk, as usual. And it's unsurprising, because it's the kind of waters these people swim in, you know? And he says here, oh, nobody's talking about it, like it's a secret information. That what Jordan Peterson basically said is that old stereotype of girls being more bitchy and blokes just punching each other on the nose if they have a problem and settling their differences that way, which is absolute nonsense, you know? Men can be petty bitches too. Everyone can. Everyone is. I mean, look at Jordan Peterson. Look at this guy. He's spending an entire video being a petty, whiny bitch, you know? And women can punch each other on the nose. You know, I remember back in my school, there was a lot of gang violence in my school, and there was a girl who was like a sort of debt collecting enforcer for her gang, and would sort of, you know, go into places and just beat the crap out of girls and blokes. So this is just absolute nonsense. It's clearly nonsense. And it's not secret information. It's not secret information. It's an old stereotype that, like, you know, people don't, like, talk about it seriously because it's never been serious. It's just some made-up nonsense. Tired made-up nonsense that everyone knows. That's the funny thing, isn't it, about all these people that, they like to call themselves, like, the intellectual dark web. We're bringing out these forbidden ideas that nobody talks about. But weirdly, all of these ideas are just, like, 1940s bigoted white man stereotype nonsense things that aren't even really ideas. They're certainly not new, and they're certainly not secret.
You know, like these girls will literally go out of their way to destroy your reputation if they don't like you. What he's saying is absolutely true, guys. Like, girls will do this to each other. You ask women, and you say, you know, you just ask them about their relationships with other girls, or you allude to the fact that, you know, women can be cruel sometimes, and they'll go, oh yeah, you know, yeah, I totally see that.
Yep, of course, women can be as cruel as anyone else can be, but to make it like this weird thing about, like, women being basically evil, and look at how terrible these women are, and video after video of it, it's so weird. It's so weird. And, like, who's watching this? Who's, like, I mean, apart from me, hate watching it and making fun of it, but, like, you know, there's an audience for this out there. He's got 20 24,000 views at the moment on this video. 24,000 people watching this video just telling them that women are bad. You know, just think it and move on if that's really what you're into. It's just so strange. It's so strange. And it speaks towards like a deep psychological problem that this person has, and presumably their audience too. Because, you know, relationships can be difficult. You know, sometimes you might want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to be in a relationship with you for any number of reasons. People can sometimes be cruel to each other and hurt each other. You know, love is cruel in a sense. But that doesn't mean you should sort of create this bizarre story about how it's not just that person who hurt you, but every single person who fits a particular demographic that they also fall into is basically evil. You know, it's just really a bad way of dealing with your trauma and your issues. And I assume that that's where this comes from because, you know, the person that the audience is listening to, this Taylor the Fiend, is so obviously damaged goods, you know, and probably that's why he continues to have difficulty with women, because he's so obviously damaged goods. He needs to sort his shit out, as apparently they keep telling him he needs to do, and then maybe he'd be a lot happier instead of dedicating his entire time to really get into that bitterness, just mine that hatred for content day after day, week after week, video after video. Because here's the thing, women are just people like everyone else, and maybe if you were able to sort of see them like that, you wouldn't be so miserable. Anyway, hope you guys got something out of this video, pointing and laughing at this weirdo. Look after yourselves and each other. Hippie hyena out. Goodbye.